Spring is coming up and your Barbie has nothing to wear. No problem. I show you today how to make a spring dress. Let's dress her today. So I would like to show you today how to do this little dress for spring today. You know, we have a strapless top, and I think it's the easiest way when I show you how to do this without anything but a piece of grease-proof paper and a little bit of tape. So now let's start. So the construction works like this. You fix grease-proof paper with a little bit of tape so that it stays in the place where you want it to. And then you have a look where you want it, and then you start with putting the tape on her back. Then you can already see a shape. It's a little bit too long here, that's why we have wrinkles, but that's in general no problem. So you can cut, and then we will get rid of the wrinkles we have here at the moment. We don't want wrinkles. It should, I think I have to cut a little bit more. Gone now because we made the waistline. It's the black line you see here, although we don't use them today. So, and then you can do this. We can neglect this little bolt here. It's because of the paper. It's grease-proof paper and it's a little bit stiff, but we don't have to worry. What we can do here is also fix this in the position and then use the marker and mark the position where you want to start your dart later, and then you do this also here so that we can see where our marking is. So do this here, and then we can of course mark it also here or on the waistline so that we know where this is going to end and where we have to start our skirt. So, and for the other side we do the same construction. Now see, we have the same problem here because it's a little bit stiff. The paper is stiff. So I start making I want the top to overlap here a little bit, and that's okay. And then you see it's not high enough, and I continue to cut them so that I can go to the waistline here too. Okay, not high enough. You will see it when you cut, and suddenly the wrinkles are all gone. So you can do this for any doll you have. It's not just for the body I have here. You can do it with any doll. So that's a versatile pattern that I show you here. So see, the wrinkles are almost gone. Cut a little bit higher So it's just important that you cut until her waistline, and then your wrinkles will disappear. So that will be my other dart. Let's fix this too. I have a little bit of tape left here. So, and then I need some more. So then we can form the dart and fix it. You can also fix the back. So that we have it overlapping, and then I start to mark here again where my darts are starting and ending, and I continue with my waistline so that I know where my waistline should be. That's the construction of the top. I added here 0.5 centimeters because I want to make a nice seam. It's a little bit longer than we would need, but because of the seam I need a little bit more, so I added a little bit to make a nice seam. That's how we construct the top. Very easy, you don't need all the lines you see here on my doll. So it's just what you have in your fantasy, you can design it. So now let's take it off. Tape the doll to see what we have here. That is our first pattern. So let's take it off the doll. And then let's take... You have to be careful when you take this off because of the... So what we do is... That's just my triangular. And then we continue to make the dart. So this is a really big dart going to the outside, but I want it for my model this way. So and here we also have to so that's what we get when we do the top for Barbie. So good. Continue doing it. We would get something like this. Okay, that's our top. We just designed our first own top without any pattern. And let's just say we created our own first top pattern here. So I hope you can follow me. And now let's continue. I show you the next steps. I have of course already prepared something for you. Transfer to fabric here. You see, my pattern is looking almost exactly the same like the one we just did. I only added here a little bit of seam allowance because we want to add our skirt here later, and that's why we need a little bit of extra fabric. So now let's start on the sewing machine. It will look like this in a few minutes, You know, here is the seam I talked about. That's what I added here. It's just 0.5 centimeters of fabric. And we need it for a nice seam here. So, we are going to start and do this here. Now let's start with the top. So, kneel down. And we start with the seam. Here. Our top, and now we sew the darts in. That means we have to use it this way. I'm going to cut the darts later. We start with the full fabric now, and I have to see where the two lines meet here, my fabric, so that I can start. Yes. So that's what we have here. Now let's do it on the other side too. Just important to find my marking so that they are on the same position. So I like to fix them, but I cannot go anywhere. So now we have the top. And you see why I added here 0.5 centimeters, so that it works. Here it's long enough, and now we have to cut the darts. Just a sec. And I let a little bit of fabric as a seam here, and I cut the rest. So same here. That's why the pattern was huge in the first way, but we cut this away so that we get something like corsage. You saw for my Barbie dress. I just make it a little bit more pretty here. The correct way would be to iron it, but I want to continue so that you see a fast result here in our Barbie dress video. How to make a Barbie dress for spring, so that Barbie needs no new dress anymore. Are you looking forward for spring? Tell me in the comments. I'm really curious to know if you are glad that we will have spring soon again. And the moment here, it is not feeling like spring, it's rather feeling like autumn, because we have a storm outside today, and that's what you hear in the background. It's very windy today. see I have in the back more than I will need, more fabric, but I will cut it later, so that's not a problem. Also, the markings are not the big problem. We will just put the dress in cold water after finishing it, and then the markings will disappear here. But I like to have them on my fabric when I'm sewing. I think that makes things a little bit easier for me. So, and now we still need the skirt I showed you. And for the skirt I also prepared something. That's our skirt. It's basically, I don't have a real pattern for it. I just take 13 centimeters and make a rectangle of it, and then you have your Barbie skirt. It's just so that this will go up to her please. This 13 centimeters, and we are also going to make it a little bit shorter because we have some seams that will come in here. I already ironed the fabric so that we can start immediately here with our seam. Start here. I don't finish the ends because I will need a little bit of fabric at the end to make a nice finish for the skirt. So. And now comes the big trick. I also showed you this in some of my other videos. If you want to see how to make the pattern from the skirt, I'm going to link you another video above, because I showed you before Christmas how to do this already, and I don't want to show it with how to mark the fabric and so on, and I'm going to link it above, then you can see it if you want to know how this works and you have not seen it before. So, but now let's continue with our sewing. So I fold my pattern in half, and then I'm going to add a little mark here. I'm going to need this in a minute. So let's mark the marking. And the blue on blue is not so perfect, but I only have blue for not black fabric. And now we start to making the skirt looking like a skirt. I have the one thread in my hand from the bobbin, and I just hold it tight, and then I get these wrinkles, and the wrinkles will be the circle of our circle skirt here. So that's a very easy method to make a plain fabric a circle skirt for Barbie. So I found my marking here, and I marked the top here also in the middle, so that I can sew them together in a sec. But before, I have to be sure that my folds don't go in any direction I don't want them to, and that's why I secure my folds here. It's just for securing the whole. Yeah, good. And then we secure them with a knot on this side too, for our wonderful spring dress. And you see our dress is coming together now. Let's test. It's looking good. I have here a little bit than I need, and I'm going to cut it later when we add the closure. I want a nice one later. Let's cut this one here. And what we have to do is we cut away the excess fabric we have here, so it's together and we don't need it anymore. And cut this away. Let's I need here, so that we can make at least a nice so that we can sew it together in a sec. That's why I have not closed the seam first. So now tell me in the comments what you think about this video. I am curious to hear what, if you like the colors I used, if you like the idea for making a strapless top. Just tell me in the comments. I'm curious to hear your opinion. You can also do suggestions, what you want. If we should do another sewing video for another member of the Barbie family. I have not closed it too far. You see, we still have to do a little work on the back. Not finished yet, but we are almost finished. I'm going to... Yeah, it's wide enough. Just wanted to see if this is wide enough. So we are going to do, of course, some nice finishing here. That's also why I haven't finished it before, because I just wanted to do all the work and then close it. My dear viewers, that's the result for our self-made dress, for our spring dress. My dear viewers, I hope you like our little sewing adventure that we had for the spring dress. And I hope you understand how to make a doll dress, especially how to make a Barbie dress now. Let me know in the comments if you are going to try this model that I showed you in the video. Question of the day is, do you want to see more of my sewing videos in the future? I hope you like my little video. You like, share and subscribe. See you in the next weeks. Your Busy Bee from Germany. Bye!